A 16-year-old Guatemalan child has died in U.S. custody. Carlos Gregorio Hernandez Vasquez was apprehended by Customs and Border Protection on May 13th. He ended up in the Weslaco Border Patrol Station in Texas, where officials say he was, quote, found unresponsive this morning. Border Patrol says they don't know the cause of death, but he had been diagnosed with the flu the day before. He is the fifth migrant child to die after being detained in U.S. custody since just December. There were 7-year-old Jacqueline Calmaquin, 8-year-old Felipe Gomez Alonso died in December, 16-year-old Juan de Leon Gutierrez died last month, and a 2.5-year-old boy died last week. The Trump administration has deflected any responsibility at every turn, even attempting to blame desperate parents for their own children's fate. Listen to then DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen on the death of little Jacqueline.
My heart goes out to the family, all of DHS. This is just a very sad example of the dangers of this journey. This family chose to cross illegally.
The family chose to cross illegally. So, well, we still have no full accounting of what is happening in these facilities. There is general consensus that they are wholly inadequate to the tasks they now face. There's also a real question about the culture of the Customs and Border Protection, an agency that views itself as holding the line against dangerous infiltrators, but is in fact, right now, largely responsible for processing thousands of desperate migrants fleeing violence and often turning themselves in. And more broadly, there are questions about the direction and management of the entire Department of Homeland Security, which now has an acting head who is head of CBP and who is one of the members to survive a Stephen Miller-led purge against those viewed as too soft on immigrants. Which is to say, there is very much a humanitarian crisis at the border, and the Trump administration is exacerbating it day by deadly day. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.